In 1997, my grandfather entered a skilled nursing facility with Alzheimer's disease. And at the time, I was in school, I was in the military, and I was in law school. And my grandfather ended up passing away while I was in law school. And during that time, he spent 10 years in a skilled nursing facility battling this awful disease, Alzheimer's. And one day I was visiting my dad, and my dad told me about the financial impact of this nursing home stay. I had no idea prior to that. And, when people go to the nursing home, the government doesn't pay for this. You essentially don't get any government help until you essentially go broke. And so my grandfather spent 10 years in a nursing home and never got a dime from the government. It was all private pay, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when I learned that, I graduated law school. I went to work for some big law firm and had good experiences there, but started to learn more and more about this system and how it was treating seniors and why did this have to happen to my grandfather. And I found this practice area that was kind of new at the time called elder law. And I went to this conference and I realized that what these attorneys were talking about, what they were doing, would have saved my family hundreds of thousands of dollars from this battle with Alzheimer's disease. And I sort of felt a calling to teach people this stuff. What happened to my family shouldn't happen to other families. And I believe that people work hard and they save money and they accumulate a nest egg, and it's not easy to do. And according to the Alzheimer's Association, 1 in 3 of us are going to have dementia, 2 out of 3 of us are going to need some form of long-term care, and 20% of us are going to need care for more than 5 years. And you look at this and you just think, why does it work this way? And it doesn't have to work that way. And so when I figured out that there were some things that should have happened in my own family, and with proper advice could have really had our family in a much better position while my grandfather still got the care he needed, I realized I needed to do that. So I started a law firm teaching people elder law issues, and now the law firm has grown and we do different things. But at its core, the reason I started the law firm was to help families in what we call a nursing home crisis case, which is when somebody goes into a long-term care setting without a plan. They find out real fast that nursing homes are expensive, and somebody explains that you should find an elder law attorney. In our case, we call those nursing home crisis cases, because in a crisis, for most families, going through $12,000, $15,000 a month on long-term care expense, that's a financial crisis, especially if dad's in the nursing home and there's still a healthy spouse who may live another 20 years. And so we do a lot of that work. And when you do a lot of the nursing home crisis work, you also tend to end up doing a lot of estate planning, writing wills, writing trusts, teaching people these different tools. And the way that it works these days, for decades and decades and decades, the common advice was, look, you're not rich, all you need is a simple will. And I don't know that that's the case anymore. Your grandfather's will probably doesn't work for you because things have changed. There used to be family caregivers. It used to be people died a lot younger. It used to be all kinds of different things. But the reality is, we have new challenges in working through retirement these days, and new challenges sometimes result in the need for new tools. And we spend an awful lot of time at the Sechler Law Firm teaching people about these tools, the difference between wills and trusts, the difference between a revocable trust and an asset protection trust and an irrevocable trust, and how you can protect your family from things like long-term care costs. And so the practice has evolved and it's grown over time. And but a lot of that is helping families with some very simple issues. At the end of the day, it's a simple goal. I've got some stuff. I worked hard to have this stuff. It wasn't easy. I saved when others spent. And now I've got a nest egg. And the way the government treats people in this situation is the government is essentially picking winners and losers based on the healthcare event you will ultimately have, which is almost entirely outside of your control, right? If you're over 65, you're probably on Medicare benefits. Well, if you're on Medicare and you need acute medical care like surgery or chemotherapy or hospitalization, well, those things are covered by Medicare benefits. If, however, the care you need is custodial, long-term care in nature, a nursing home, Medicare doesn't pay for that. And so we've got this system that is treating seniors and is picking winners and losers from a financial standpoint based on the healthcare event you have, which is entirely outside of your control. And I just look at this and I think, why has it got to be that way? And when we educate our clients, our potential clients on these issues, and we're able to say, there are these opportunities. If you become educated and you take advantage of some of these opportunities, you can protect yourself from these issues. It doesn't have to work out that way. And that's been a message that lots of people, it seems to resonate with. And the law firm has grown over time. And the scope of the law firm continues to expand. And there's now we help lots of young families protect their kids from other issues. Young families typically aren't worried about the nursing home, but I'm a parent of a young child. I'm a parent of 3 young children, and I think one of my duties as a parent is to plan for my own absence. My job, my primary role on this planet right now is to take these little humans and turn them into adult good humans, right? And if I get hit by the proverbial bus, I still have the job to make sure that these are good humans. And you can plan for this. You can put together proper legal planning in place to make sure that this works. And so as the law firm continues to grow, what it really becomes and has become is about honoring the life that our clients have lived. And one of the things that really bugs me about my grandfather's story is we have an office in Somerset. I've spent some time in Somerset, and I occasionally bump into people who knew him. And one of the things that they'll say is like, "What a shame how it worked out. What a shame that he went out that way." And my grandfather did a lot of things. He was a farmer. He was a business owner. He was a World War II veteran. They don't talk about that stuff. They talk about how it worked. And I don't think that should be the way that it goes. And so to some extent, we're kind of like the guardians of our clients' stories and making sure that the most difficult chapters are told well. And that includes even post-death. It pains me when we get involved in cases after someone has passed away and the family members are fighting over the money or fighting over the stuff. And these are typically issues that with proper planning, we could have prevented this fight. And so the law firm continues to grow. The scope of the law firm continues to grow. But at its core, I think the mission is the same, and that's honoring your legacy, whatever that means to you. To some people, legacy means a name on a building. To some people, it means leaving financial resources. To some people, it may mean a charitable contribution. But whatever that is to you, we want to make sure that your goals and desires are met. That also means that we need to make sure that they work the day you sign your estate plan. And they need to work 10 years later. Estate planning, when done properly, it's not a one-time thing. In law school, they talk about estate planning as being transactional law. And what that means is, you hire the lawyer to do a thing, write a will. And once the lawyer has written the will and you've paid the lawyer, that's the end of the transaction, that's the end of the relationship. But that's not the way it should go, right? An estate plan is not a thing you sign and you put on a shelf and never look at it for a decade. An estate planning is a thing that is a living plan that needs to change over time. Laws change, your goals change. For a lot of people, you're probably going to lose some memory over what you decided to do 5-10 years ago. And so the next chapter of the Sechler Law Firm and what is a really fun thing is we have this thing that's called the Red Wagon Club. And the Red Wagon Club, we have an ongoing relationship with our clients. When laws change, we tell them about it. If they want to update their estate planning, it's included in the plan. And we have some fun. We have fun events every month where we get together. And it seems to me that, I have owned an estate planning and elder law firm since I was in my 20s. I've been working with retirees for a long time. And it turns out that a lot of our clients have a lot in common. They're similar, live in a similar part of the country, from a similar demographic background, from a similar financial background. They have similar interests. And we've been able to communicate in a way and meet these folks and have relationships with these folks where now they have relationships with each other. And it's this really beautiful thing where a lot of our clients are committed to the success of the plan, the success of their finances, the success of their family, their kids, and we're doing it together. And it's this really, really neat thing that's occurring. And so that's where we are with the Sechler Law Firm. The mission has grown over time, but it's the same. We want to help our clients protect their money, protect their family, and honor their goals rather than to have the government or some creditor or some other entity impose their goals on your family. So that's what we're all about, and that's what we're going to continue to be about.